called a urologist, and it is kind of personal, you know, so I figured you would not mind if I stepped away." "No, no, it is okay," Barn replied, offering a supportive smile. "I have an appointment in 1 hour. Is that going to be okay?" Wojo asked, seeking reassurance. "Yes, yes, perfectly fine," Barn assured him. Wojo leaned against the cold steel bars, staring at the floor. "Also, I remembered who she is." "Who?" "I met her in a beauty parlor," Wojo explained, his memory rewinding to a cold winter day. "Well, it was snowing real hard, and I just went inside to get warm. And I saw Maureen. She was giving some old lady a manicure, you know. So the next thing I know, she's got a kid." Barn remained silent, allowing his friend the space to process his thoughts. Wojo looked up, a mix of guilt and defensive pride in his eyes. "Come on, Barn. I know what you're thinking. Mr. Macho, right? Hey, look, I swagger around, hopping in bed with anything that still has a pulse. But of course, the minute I might have to accept some responsibility for my actions and give a child a father, then I run and hide behind some sleazeball attorney, begging to get me off the hook. I did not come in here for a lecture," Wojo added quickly, though he was entirely lecturing himself. "You can have your desk back," Barnes said softly, sensing Wojo's deep internal conflict. Chapter 4, The Cinematic Crusader. The quiet reflection in the squad room was shattered by the arrival of 2 patrol officers leading a disheveled but fiercely determined man in a tweed jacket. "Movies about violence. Movies about sex," the man shouted, his voice echoing off the high ceilings. "Look, Mr. Frayne, this is not the movies," one of the officers warned gently. "We are in the real world now," the man, Mr. Frayne, retorted with fiery passion. "Do you people not understand? They are corrupting the human soul. They are poisoning our spirit, making us reek of blood and sinew like some flesh-eating Neanderthal." The captain stepped out of his office, adjusting his tie. "What do we have here?" "Barn, that is Arthur Frayne," one of the officers reported. "We picked him up in the projection booth over at the Tivoli Theater. Now," the projection booth was not locked. "We got there. Mr. Frayne had already laid out the projectionist. He was in the process of ripping the film into pieces of confetti, tossing them to the audience." The officer sighed, shaking his head. Apparently, Mr. Frayne took exception to some of the explicit mutilations and gore that were being portrayed in the film in question, Arbor Day. "The name of the film is Arbor Day," Mr. Frayne interrupted, stepping forward to defend his righteous crusade. "And it starts off real nice. A bunch of cute Cub Scouts camping in the woods, and they are singing their songs, and they are planting trees. And before you know it, somebody starts killing them off. One kid takes a sapling right through the brain. Another kid gets split down the middle like a log, so that some maniac can come along and grind them up into mulch and use them as fertilizer. A park ranger. Right? They trusted that man." The captain sighed, gesturing toward a wooden chair. "Mr. Frayne, you want to have a seat over there?" Frayne ignored the chair, too caught up in his passionate defense of human decency. And the audience changed during the movie. They were sitting there, and they got wild-eyed, and they were sitting on the edge of their seats. And they were catching the armrests, and they were behaving as a pack of jackals in a slaughterhouse. "Just have a seat right over there, Mr. Frayne," the captain repeated firmly, yet not unkindly. "If that widescreen horror and carnage is not stopped," Frayne warned, taking a reluctant step toward the chair, "then somebody is really going to snap and do something crazy. Like you. See? Down in front." Just then Carl, the mail clerk, strolled into the precinct, carrying a large canvas bag. "Mail call," he announced cheerfully. "Here you go, Sergeant Harris. The club was just clearing out sweepstakes time." "Oh, goody," Harris replied with dry wit, accepting the envelopes. "Sergeant Dietrich," Carl continued, handing over a neat stack. "Thanks, Carl." Levitt stepped forward, handing a polished folder to the captain. "Sir, I have got your manpower reports, interdepartmental communiques, and, of course, your mail." "Thank you, Levitz," the captain said. My pleasure, sir, Levitz replied briskly before leaning in slightly. Sir, is it true that Sergeant Walter Howitz is going to be a father? Very, the captain replied, his tone guarded. I did not know he had ever been married, Levitz noted. He has not. And what happened? An unfortunate accident, the captain said smoothly, shutting down the gossip. Oh, I see. Let it rest. Suppose, then, a gift would not be in order, Levitz muttered, backing away. Right. What a shame. I was passing by this little toy store, and I picked up this little rat. Harris raised an eyebrow. What? Chapter 5, A Crisis of Identity. Wojo returned from his medical appointment an hour later. The heavy burden on his shoulders seemed to have multiplied tenfold. He slumped into his chair, staring blankly at the wall. Harris walked over, tried to inject some normalcy. Hey, Wojo. How are you doing, Harris? Hey, Wojo. You drink? Would you? Wojo looked at the small toy rat Levitz had left on the desk. What the hell is that for? Oh, no. That is, well, what happened? Harris asked gently. Wojo took a deep, shaky breath. He is not my kid. Harris blinked. Congratulations. Wojo shook his head, a profound sadness in his eyes. I am sterile. Harris was taken aback. Sterile? You? Yeah, me? What? You are so big. You know what I mean. Harris stammered, genuinely surprised. That has got nothing to do with it, Wojo whispered, looking away. Forget it. Lucky I kept the receipt. Harris tried to pivot the conversation. The coffee is fresh. Sure. Change the subject, Wojo muttered. So what did they say? Harris pressed gently, sitting on the edge of Wojo's desk. Wojo stared at his hands, finding the words difficult to string together. Well, they gave me all their tests, and then the next thing I know, the doctor is saying they're sorry about this. Pal, but your spermatozoans are dead. See, they're supposed to wiggle. Mine just sort of lay there like a bunch of strings. Harris placed a comforting hand on his colleague's shoulder. Whoa, man, look, maybe the condition is just temporary. Yeah, no. The doctor said it was irreversible, Wojo replied, his voice breaking slightly. I am a damn eunuch. Not really, Harris assured him. I know what I feel, Wojo insisted stubbornly. Well, look, man, maybe you should at least get a second opinion, Harris offered softly. Maybe I should get a job guarding a harem. Wojo shot back, using dark humor to mask his pain. There are plenty of openings. Chapter 6, The Reckless Takedown. The heavy precinct doors open again, admitting a well-dressed older gentleman who looked deeply flustered. He approached the front desk with determined stride. Yes, can I help you? The desk sergeant asked. Yes, I am Victor Lupton, the man announced. I own the Tivoli Theater. Oh, right, the sergeant nodded. Yes, I am here to press charges against Mr. Friend. Frayne. Arthur called out from his chair across the room. Friend, Frayne, him. Lupton pointed an accusatory finger. You. Lupton marched over to Frayne. What are you, some kind of maniac? What? You do not recognize me? Frayne stood up, indignant. I am the guy who sold you your house. Your ticket. Who put that extra buttery flavored oil on your popcorn? Lupton crossed his arms. No charge. I got you that nice seat on the aisle, away from the family with the turbans. Frayne countered, listing his past kindnesses. So, Lupton demanded. So, what do I get for my consideration? An unconscious projectionist? A ruined print? 200 animals stampeding through my lobby, screaming for their money back. Your movie was pandering to the dankest recesses of the human mind, Frayne declared righteously. It was almost over. Lupton cried out, Look, would you just take a seat down here, please? The desk sergeant intervened smoothly. I need to get a little information from you. Suddenly, a loud commotion echoed from the hallway. The doors burst open, and Wojo practically dragged a struggling suspect, Joseph Barney, into the precinct. Wojo was breathing heavily, his face flushed with